85-mile-per-hour winds are battering Northern Ireland right now. This is not a drill. Storm Chandra has arrived, and the next 24 hours will determine whether your home, your travel plans, and possibly your safety remain intact. Right now, at this very moment, wind gusts are reaching 70 to 80 miles per hour along the southern coast of the Republic of Ireland. But here is what nobody is telling you yet. The worst is still to come, and it's heading straight for areas that were already devastated by Storm Gerrit just weeks ago. Before we go any further, I need you to do something critical. Drop a comment below telling me exactly where you were located, your town, your city, your postcode area, because what I'm about to reveal affects different parts of the UK in dramatically different ways, and in exactly 30 seconds, I am going to tell you about the 3 specific locations facing the most dangerous conditions. But first, you need to understand what makes Storm Chandra different from every other storm we've seen this winter. This isn't just heavy rain and strong winds. This is a triple threat weather system that combining elements we rarely see together. Amber level rainfall warnings, severe structural damage potential from winds, and significant hill snow all happening simultaneously. The Met Office doesn't issue amber warnings lightly. These are reserved for situations where there is a danger to life. Here is your first reward for staying with me. If you live in Cornwall, Somerset, Dorset, or anywhere along the southwest coast extending east to Winchester, you are currently under an amber rain warning. That means rainfall totals of 50 to 80 millimeters are expected, with some locations potentially seeing 100 millimeters. To put that in perspective, that nearly 4 inches of rain in less than 24 hours falling on already saturated ground. But wait, there is something even more critical happening in Northern Ireland right now that requires your immediate attention. The northeastern flank of Northern Ireland is experiencing what meteorologists call a perfect storm scenario. Wind gusts have already reached 60 to 70 miles per hour, and they re-intensifying. By midday Tuesday, exposed coastal locations could see sustained gusts of 75 miles per hour, with isolated spots potentially reaching 80 to 85 miles per hour. Now, why does this matter specifically? Because Storm Gerrit already weakened structures across these exact same areas. Trees are already compromised. Roof tiles are already loose. The ground is completely saturated, making it incredibly easy for trees to topple. When you combine 75-mile-per-hour winds with weakened infrastructure, you don't just get disruption, you get genuine danger. Let me ask you something. Have you checked your property for loose items? Garden furniture, trampolines, bins, anything that could become a projectile in 70-mile-per-hour winds. Because here's what's going to happen over the next 6 hours, and this is crucial. The storm system is currently positioned southwest of Ireland, and it's moving northeastward. The southern flank of this low-pressure system is where the most intense winds are concentrated. As it tracks across the Irish Sea, those winds are going to funnel through channels, accelerating even further. The northern coast of Northern Ireland and exposed western coasts of Scotland will bear the brunt of this between now and Tuesday afternoon. But here is the twist nobody saw coming. While everyone has been focused on the wind and rain, there is a third element developing that's going to cause massive disruption across a completely different part of the UK. And this is where things get really interesting. As Storm Chandra's rainfall moves northward, it's going to collide with significantly colder air sitting over northern England and Scotland. When warm, moisture-laden air hits that cold barrier, something remarkable happens. The rain transforms into snow, not light dustings. We are talking about 10 to 20 centimeters of snow accumulation above 500 meters elevation. The Pennines, the Yorkshire Dales, the North York Moors, and the entire central belt of Scotland are going to wake up Tuesday morning to significant snowfall. Now, you might think it's January, snow is normal, but here's what makes this dangerous. It's happening during a named storm with high winds, blizzard conditions. That's what we're looking at for higher elevations across northern England and Scotland through Tuesday. 10 to 20 centimeters of snow combined with 40 to 50 mile per hour winds creates whiteout conditions. If you're replanning to travel across the Pennines, over the M62 corridor, or through any high-level routes in Scotland on Tuesday, I am going to be blunt with you. Don T. Now, drop a comment below with your location, because what I am about to break down is a city-by-city, region-by-region analysis of exactly what's coming your way and when. Let's start in the southwest, because that's where Storm Chandra is making landfall right now. Plymouth, Exeter, Truro, Penzance, you are in the amber warning zone. Heavy rain began around 8 o'clock last night and is going to continue through until late Tuesday morning. The rainfall is relentless. Rivers are already rising. The ground cannot absorb any more water. Coastal areas are seeing waves of 6 to 8 meters crashing against sea defenses. Wind gusts along the North Cornwall coast are reaching 60 to 65 miles per hour. But here's your critical timeline. The worst of the rain will ease by 9 o'clock Tuesday morning. However, the winds will remain strong through Tuesday afternoon, gusting to 50 miles per hour. For Bristol, Bath, and the wider Somerset area, you are on the eastern edge of the amber warning. You're going to see 60 to 80 millimeters of rain through Monday night into Tuesday morning. The Avon is going to rise significantly. Low-lying areas near the river should expect flooding. Wind gusts will peak around 50 to 55 miles per hour Tuesday morning. The rain will turn more showery by late Tuesday morning, but expect a grey, drizzly day overall. Cardiff and Swansea yellow rain warnings are in place. You are looking at 40 to 60 millimetres of rainfall, with the heaviest burst Monday evening through early Tuesday. Southwest Wales will also see some damaging gusts, particularly along the Pembrokeshire coast, where winds could reach 65 miles per hour. The combination of high winds and saturated ground means trees could come down, particularly in wooded areas around the Brecon Beacons foothills. Now let S move to the area facing the most severe conditions. Northern Ireland, Belfast. You need to pay very close attention. The northeastern portion of Northern Ireland has an amber wind warning in place. This is severe. Between now and Tuesday afternoon, you're going to experience the strongest winds this region has seen since Storm Gerrit. Gusts of 70 to 75 miles per hour are likely, with the potential for 80 to 85 miles per hour in the most exposed locations. What does this actually mean for you? Structural damage is likely. We not talking about possibility, we talking about probability. Roof tiles will come off, fences will blow down, large trees will uproot. Power outages are almost certain in some areas. If you haven't secured loose items around your property, you need to do that right now. Derry and the northwest coast. You're also in the amber wind warning zone. The winds will be slightly less intense than Belfast, but you're still looking at 65 to 70 mile per hour gusts. The timing is crucial here. The strongest winds will occur between 6 o'clock Tuesday morning and 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. Plan accordingly. For the Republic of Ireland S, southern coast from Limerick southward to Cork. While I am primarily focused on UK areas, I need to mention this because many of you have family or travel connections there. That southern coast is going to be absolutely hammered. Wind gusts of 75 to 80 miles per hour are expected along exposed coastal sections. This is genuinely dangerous. Now, here is something critical that is going to happen around lunchtime Tuesday, and this is information you absolutely need to know. As the main storm system moves northward, there is going to be a temporary lull in some areas. The rain will ease, winds will drop slightly, and some people will think the worst is over. Do not be fooled. This is the classic mistake people make with these systems. The southern flank of the storm will have passed, but the broader circulation is still very much active. Let me move to northwest England now because this is where the rain to snow transition becomes critical. Manchester, Liverpool, Preston, Lancaster. Through Monday evening, you are getting rain, heavy rain. But here's what happens overnight. As that rain pushes into the Pennines and higher ground, it transitions to snow above about 300 to 400 meters initially, then potentially lower. The cities themselves will remain mostly rain, but any elevated areas, any routes that climb into the hills, they are going to see snow. The M62 corridor deserves special attention. This is one of the UK's most critical transport arteries, and it crosses the Pennines at elevation. By Tuesday morning, the high-level sections of the M62 could be experiencing blizzard conditions. 20 centimetres of snow combined with 40 to 50 mile per hour winds creates drifting. Visibility drops to near zero. This is exceptionally dangerous for drivers. Leeds, Bradford, Sheffield, similar situation. The cities stay mostly wet, but elevated suburbs and any routes heading into the Pennines or the Peak District will transition to heavy snow overnight Monday into Tuesday. The Peak District itself could see 15 to 25 centimetres of accumulation above 500 metres. Newcastle, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, here where the forecast gets really interesting for you. You on the eastern edge of the main system, so you want to see the heaviest rain or the strongest winds from Storm Chandra itself. However, you going to be affected by the prolonged northeasterly flow that develops behind the main system. What does that mean practically? From Tuesday afternoon onwards, you are going to get persistent rain and hill snow feeding in from the North Sea. It's not heavy, but it is relentless. It just keeps coming hour after hour. Eastern areas of Northumberland and Durham could see this continue well into Tuesday evening and overnight into Wednesday. Scotland, we need to talk about what is heading your way because this is complex and it affects different areas in very different ways. Glasgow, Edinburgh and the Central Belt, overnight Monday into Tuesday. As Storm Chandra's rainfall reaches you, it is going to meet that colder air mass sitting over Scotland. The transition zone between rain and snow is going to set up right across the central belt. Areas above 300 to 400 metres will see heavy snow. 10 to 20 centimetres are possible over higher ground in the Ochils, the Campsies, and the Pentlands. In the cities themselves, you are looking at rain, possibly mixing with sleet at times, but mainly rain. However, temperatures will be hovering right around 3 to 5 degrees Celsius, so it's going to feel thoroughly miserable. Wind gusts of 40 to 45 miles per hour will make it feel even colder. Aberdeen and the northeast coast, you are in for a prolonged period of unpleasant weather. From Tuesday morning onwards, a northeasterly wind is going to feed cloud, rain, and hill snow into eastern Scotland. This continues through Tuesday, Tuesday night, and into Wednesday. The highlands immediately west of Aberdeen could see significant snow accumulations 20 to 30 centimetres above 500 metres. Inverness and the Highlands, this is where the most significant snow is going to fall. The Highlands are going to get absolutely plastered with snow, 20 to 30 centimetres widely above 500 metres, with some higher peaks potentially seeing 40 to 50 centimetres. The Cairngorms are going to see exceptional snow accumulations. This is great news if you into winter sports, but terrible news if you are trying to travel. The A9, the A96, any high-level routes through the Highlands. Expect significant disruption Tuesday and into Wednesday. Blizzard conditions are likely at times. Drifting snow will be a major issue with those strong winds. Here are the Western Highlands and Islands, Oban, Fort William, Skye, the Outer Hebrides. Interestingly, the west coast of Scotland actually escapes the worst of Storm Chandra. While the east gets battered with rain and hill snow, western coastal areas will see relatively dry conditions through much of Tuesday. You'll have strong winds, certainly with gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour, but you will dodge the heaviest precipitation. Now let's talk about what happens after Storm Chandra clears, because this is the question everyone is asking. Is this it, or is there more to come? The honest answer is there is more weather on the way, but nothing quite as intense as Storm Chandra in the immediate forecast. By Wednesday, the main storm system will have cleared to the northeast. Most areas will see a brighter day with sunny spells and scattered showers. Temperatures will be below average, ranging from 7 to 9 degrees Celsius in most areas, perhaps reaching 10 degrees in the southwest. However, and this is important, the overall weather pattern remains unsettled. We in an Atlantic-dominated pattern, which means low-pressure systems are going to keep rolling in from the west. Think of it like this. Storm Chandra is the headline act, but there are several support acts waiting in the wings. Through the rest of this week and into early next week, we're going to see further spells of wet and windy weather. None of them look as severe as Storm Chandra at this point, but they'll keep conditions unsettled. There is a signal in some of the longer range forecast models for a potential turn colder around the 7th of February, but that is still tentative and could change. Now, I promised you at the beginning that I'd tell you exactly when the storm delivers on its threat, and I'm going to give you something nobody else is providing. Specific timelines for when conditions are at their absolute worst in different areas. Here are your critical time windows. Southwest England, amber warning zone, worst conditions between midnight Monday and 9 o'clock Tuesday morning. Heaviest rain between 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock Tuesday morning. Peak wind gusts between 7 o'clock and 11 o'clock Tuesday morning. Northern Ireland, amber wind warning zone. Worst conditions between 6 o'clock Tuesday morning and 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. Peak wind gusts between 9 o'clock and 1 o'clock Tuesday. Central belt of Scotland, rain and snow warning. Worst conditions between 4 o'clock Tuesday morning and 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. Heaviest snow above 400 metres between 6 o'clock and midday Tuesday. Pennines and northern England hills. Worst conditions between 2 o'clock Tuesday morning and midday Tuesday. Heaviest snow with blizzard conditions between 5 o'clock and 11 o'clock Tuesday morning. Northeast Scotland. Worst conditions beginning Tuesday morning and continuing through Tuesday evening. Prolonged period rather than a single peak. If you are in any of these areas during these time windows, here is what you should do. Stay inside if at all possible. If you absolutely must travel, allow extra time, reduce your speed, and be prepared for rapidly changing conditions. Keep your phone charged, have a torch handy in case of power cuts, and know where your important documents are in case of flooding. Let me give you some specific numbers that put this storm in perspective, because I know some of you are thinking we've had storms before, how bad can it really be? Storm Chandra's central pressure is around 975 millibars. That's steep. For comparison, a typical Atlantic low might be 990 to 1000 millibars. The deeper the pressure, the stronger the winds. This is a significant system. The rainfall totals I mentioned earlier, 50 to 100 millimeters in the amber warning areas. That's equivalent to 2 weeks worth of normal January rainfall falling in less than 24 hours. Rivers that are already running high are going to burst their banks in vulnerable areas. The wind speeds, 75 to 85 miles per hour in the worst affected areas, are equivalent to the wind speeds in a Category 1 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale. Now, we don't use that scale in the UK, but it gives you a frame of reference. These are genuinely dangerous winds. The snow accumulations, 10 to 20 centimetres on hills, 20 to 30 centimetres in the highlands. These are significant totals for areas that will also be experiencing strong winds. That combination creates drifting, which can make even moderate snow depths feel like much more. Here is something else I need to address because I've seen a lot of confusion online. Some people are comparing this to Storm Babette, Storm Ciarán, or Storm Gerrit from earlier this season. How does Storm Chandra compare? Storm Chandra is not quite as intense as Storm Babette was at its peak, particularly in terms of rainfall totals. However, it's tracking over areas that were already hit hard by previous storms. That cumulative impact matters. Soil that already saturated can absorb more water. Trees that were already stressed are more likely to fall. Structures that were already damaged are more vulnerable. In terms of wind speeds, Storm Chandra is comparable to Storm Gerrit in the most affected areas, possibly slightly stronger in the Northern Ireland amber warning zone. The key difference is the geographical focus. Storm Chandra is concentrating its worst impacts on Northern Ireland and the Irish Sea region, whereas Storm Gerrit was more focused on Northern England and Scotland. Now, let me address travel, because I know many of you are trying to make decisions about journeys over the next day or two. Air travel. Expect disruption at all UK airports, but particularly Belfast, Liverpool, Manchester, and Glasgow. Strong crosswinds will make landings challenging. Delays and cancellations are likely, especially Tuesday morning and early afternoon. Rail travel, the West Coast Main Line, could see disruption due to high winds. Any routes crossing high ground in northern England or Scotland should expect delays or cancellations due to snow. Overhead wire problems are possible in high winds. Fallen trees blocking lines are a real possibility. Ferry services, Irish sea crossings are going to be severely disrupted or cancelled. Don't even think about booking a ferry for Tuesday unless you were prepared for cancellation. North Sea routes will also be affected, though less severely. Road travel. If you must drive, avoid the M62 at high level on Tuesday morning. Avoid the A9 and high-level Scottish routes. Give extra space to high-sided vehicles which will be buffeted by the wind. Watch for standing water and localized flooding, especially in the southwest. Here is what you need to do right now, today, this evening. 1. Secure everything outside your property. Bring in or tie down anything that could blow away. 2. Charge all your devices. If the power goes out, you want to be able to stay informed. 3. Check on vulnerable neighbours, especially elderly people living alone. Make sure they re-prepared and have what they need. 4. If you are in a flood risk area, move valuables upstairs. Have sandbags ready if you have them. Know your evacuation route if conditions deteriorate. 5. Avoid unnecessary travel on Tuesday, especially during the critical time windows I gave you earlier. 6. Keep checking the Met Office warnings. They can be updated at short notice if conditions change. Now, before I wrap up, I want to give you the teaser I promised about what's coming after Storm Chandra, because the medium range forecast is actually quite interesting. As I mentioned, Wednesday looks brighter for most areas. Sunny spells, scattered showers, temperatures below average but not drastically cold. Thursday and Friday look unsettled with further rain at times, but nothing severe. Winds will remain breezy but not damaging. But here is what is really interesting. The forecast models are showing signals of a potential pattern change around the 7th to 10th of February. Some models are suggesting a strengthening of high pressure to the northeast, which could allow colder air to sink south from Scandinavia and potentially bring a more wintry regime. Now, this is still 10 to 14 days away, so there is enormous uncertainty. But if this pattern does develop, we could be looking at a shift from Atlantic storms to colder, potentially snowy conditions, particularly for eastern areas. This is something to watch, and I'll be covering it in detail in upcoming forecasts. There's also some chatter in meteorological circles about a potential stratospheric warming event in late February, which could have implications for weather patterns in early March. Again, this is very long range and speculative, but it's worth being aware of. Before you go, remember what I asked you at the start. Drop a comment below telling me where you are located. I read every single comment, and your location information helps me tailor future forecasts to the areas people actually care about. Are you in one of the amber warning areas? Are you dealing with the snow in the Pennines? Are you on the western coast dodging the worst of it? Let me know. And here's your final piece of critical information. The next 24 hours are crucial. By Wednesday morning, Storm Chandra will have cleared and we can assess the damage. But between now and then, conditions are going to be dangerous in some areas. Stay safe, stay informed, and don't take unnecessary risks. The most important thing you can do is check those Met Office warnings for your specific area. They are color-coded for a reason. Yellow means be aware, Amber means be prepared. Red means take action. We have amber warnings in force, which means this is serious. One more thing I need to emphasize. Social media is going to be full of dramatic videos and images over the next 24 hours. Some will be genuine, some will be from previous storms, some might even be from other countries. Don T let sensationalized content panic you, but equally Don T become complacent. Stick to official sources like the Met Office for your information. If you found this detailed breakdown helpful, make sure you resubscribed and notifications are turned on, because Storm Chandra won to be the last significant weather event this winter. The pattern we read suggests more Atlantic systems are coming, and I will be tracking every single one of them, giving you the same detailed location-specific analysis UV just heard. Remember those critical time windows I gave you. If you are in the southwest, worst conditions are happening right now through Tuesday morning. If you are in Northern Ireland, brace yourself for Tuesday morning through early afternoon. If you are in Northern England or Scotland dealing with snow, Tuesday morning is when it's the most intense. Stay safe out there, check on your neighbours, secure your property, avoid unnecessary travel, and ride out Storm Chandra. By Wednesday, we'll be picking up the pieces and looking ahead to what's next. But for now, the focus is simple. Get through the next 24 hours safely. Drop that comment with your location, stay tuned for updates, and I will see